The Dating Show, brought to you by olderdatingonline.com.
I've just been reading this magazine, Grace, and it's called it's Men's Health magazine, but it's all about hygiene. And I know you've got a lovely Christmassy type hot chocolate there, so I don't want to ruin it for you.
So tasty.
But it's saying underpants. 25% of men wear their boxers for 2 days at a time, and it exposes them to sometimes E. coli, and turning them inside out won't help. I can't believe 25% of men wear their boxers for 2 days.
Funnily enough, I watched an old episode of QI the other day, and they were talking about how you cannot, like, someone was saying you can get 5 wears out of 1 pair of pants. And one of them said was the last one wearing them as a hat. But obviously, inside out, back to front, inside out, back to front. It's just bizarre to me. I don't understand just wearing a new pair of pants.
Yeah, and also this E. coli thing, that's a bit worrying. But we did do a sort of business trip, and a chap did come on the business trip, and it was a 4-day trip. And he took 2 pairs of pants, and he did turn them inside out.
Also, why are you sharing that information with other people? Like, your pants habits are your own habits. Like, I don't feel the need to know.
Like I say, it wasn't me. It was this other chap. Anyway, we're sort of heading towards Christmas and New Year. Party time.
Finally.
We're here. So we're looking at sort of the do's and the don'ts and what you should do, what you shouldn't do. It's got a few here just about the Christmas party, which I know we sort of touched on
Always
before.
a minefield.
Yeah, you've got to be really, really careful. Are you going to our one this year?
I haven't made up my mind. It's a little bit out of my way. So if I can get a lift home, I will probably come.
Right, okay. Well, maybe see you there. But it said the top tips to survive the Christmas office party is have a glass of water between alcoholic drinks. Don't tell your colleagues what you really think of them. Please don't tell me what you really think of them. Make sure you eat dinner before you go. Book the next day off. Avoid deep conversations with the boss. Avoid the office creep.
Not sure who ours is. Whose ours is.
Exactly. We got a lot. Dress appropriately. Don't wear too short a dress or an unbuttoned shirt. Don't have shots after 11 o'clock. They're not a good idea. Give yourself a curfew, and just don't go. Is probably the best way.
I feel like
putting
shots any time are a bad idea, regardless 11 p.m. onwards or not. Shots are always a terrible, terrible idea. Shots taste of one thing, and that is regret. Nothing but regret.
I'll remember that. Thanks.
Regret flavoured.
Yeah, can I have 2 regrets over there, please? Right. Okay, so let's have a look at this research. So we're looking at dating, Christmas. Obviously, you need to buy some presents, possibly, for a new date, that sort of thing. So that's what your research has shown.
So we were talking about the do's and don'ts of, Christmas parties, but there are also a couple of do's and don'ts in regards to perhaps your first Christmas with your partner or the first holiday with someone. It's always quite difficult to figure out how much you should be spending on a present. And a lot of people tend to go for really expensive gifts early on. And studies have shown when they've interviewed people, surveyed people, is that women a lot of times see expensive gifts as bribes. And also it presents a problem in that if you start off with really expensive presents, you have to continue that. You kind of have to up your game every year. And if you start to buy less expensive gifts, people tend to see that as your affection is going away. That may not be the case, but a lot of people think, well, he bought me a really expensive bracelet the first year, and now this year he bought me some socks. So you have to be careful. You have to pace yourself in a relationship when it comes to gift giving.
So you've got to set the tone right at the start.
Yeah, I think you do.
So if it's you just met somebody on olderdatingonline.com and it's your first Christmas together or whatever, you got to be go low, go cheap. First year.
I mean, and also this research showed it's not about spending money. People actually appreciate gifts that reflect your personality. So the way that they did this, it was published in the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology, and what they did, they got people to put together like a mix CD for people. The people enjoyed the CDs the most when it reflected the person who's giving it, their music taste, rather than what they think the other person would like. So if you're a funny person and you give a funny gift, you are showing that you're giving part of your personality to them rather than overthinking, what will they like? Men might automatically think, women love expensive jewellery. Not all women do. So try and reflect who you are in the gift that you give is the advice that I would probably give.
Do you know what I do each year? I make my own pickled onions, chili like pickled onions, and
Nothing
give
says
those.
romance like a pickled onion.
Maybe I need to rethink that one. Okay, and what about if you're sort of just starting the process of dating? You might have met somebody on Older Dating Online, and you know, it's the first, second, third date. Do you this Christmas buy them something? Do you get them a card? What do we do here?
I think a card is always, good manners to get people a Christmas card.
Present?
In regard to present, probably just talk about it and be like, would you like to get each other a little small thing that we think each other would enjoy? There's nothing worse than giving a gift and not getting one back, and the other person might feel guilty. So just talk about it, and then don't spend a lot of money. If they mention something about like a funny computer game they played as a child, like find that for them. Find an old movie that they mentioned. Like show that you're listening to what they're saying about themselves, and just little things. But if you don't want to give a gift, then don't.
So go small.
Go small. Go
Yeah.
small and thoughtful.
Small and thoughtful. I
Small
like
and
that.
thoughtful.
And because like you said earlier, if you go big at the beginning, you're just storing up a load of debt for yourself. in
Also,
the
I think it can
future.
scare people because it makes you seem like you're a lot more serious than you are, possibly. If you whip out something really big and expensive, people might think, whoa, this person's really serious about me. I'm not sure if I'm on that level yet.
Yeah.
Whereas nice little gifts, like what I would call stocking fillers, will probably always go down quite nicely.
Yeah, pickled onions.
Maybe not.
Thanks, Grace.
Thank you.
The Dating Show, brought to you by olderdatingonline.com.